gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn on the camera and talk about what it is that's going on. What's going on is I am definitely unable to get decently looking because I'm growing my hair out to look like I live in a shtetl, so I have to grow my hair out. Okay, so I've been thinking about Dolly Parton. So I made a video the other day about Dolly Parton, and I got cut off because my camera is out of room, and so it recorded for a little while and then it stopped. I don't really know where the recording stopped at. I listened to the recording, so I did hear the recording after I recorded it, but I don't really remember where the recording stopped. But I had reached some conclusions that were difficult for me to come to terms with, and I thought I would go further. So there's an interview with Barbara Walters and Dolly Parton, and I remember it from the time. Dolly Parton is important in my thought world because she was the third celebrity that I identified with, or I don't want to say attracted to, because when I was 4, my favorite celebrity was Johnny Cash. I was not attracted to Johnny Cash when I was 4, but well, depends on what you mean by attracted, right? But my first celebrity was Johnny Cash. My second celebrity was Cher. And I basically wanted to be Johnny Cash so that I could marry Cher, which made perfect sense when I was 6 years old, maybe 7. By the time I was 9, maybe 8, Dolly Parton was my celebrity. So Johnny Cash, Cher, and then Dolly Parton. Now, wouldn't you say that if not by their age, but by their style, if Cher and Johnny Cash had a kid, wouldn't it be Dolly Parton? So there's a nice connection there between my 3 first celebrities. And then Olivia Newton-John was my next celebrity. And by then I would say celebrity crush, or I don't know. As you grow up, your attractions change in nature, but you're drawn to these celebrities. So now I see celebrities as today's gods and goddesses. Back in the day, before magazines, before photography, before radio, television, telegraph, there were images of goddesses and gods, but mostly gods and goddesses were their story. People told the story of whatever. It included gods and goddesses, and these gods and goddesses were people's images in their inner thought lives of things to do, things to avoid, things to be, things not to be. They were characters in our human thought worlds to emulate or not emulate, to warn us of problems, to lead us towards solutions, how to think, how not to think, what to do, what not to do. And so today, we don't have gods and goddesses, in this world. Maybe in Hinduism, there's some of that still. In Catholicism, there certainly were saints to emulate, and that was the same thing. I would say in the Hellenistic world, it was gods and goddesses. In the medieval world, it was saints. Today, it's celebrities. So it's beings above us that we can emulate or not emulate or use to navigate our inner thought life. And those celebrities change. So, I went from Johnny Cash to Cher to Dolly Parton, and then I kept going, but I'll stop here. And on Mount Olympus, there came a point when there could only be 12. So it was a problem when Heracles, or maybe it was Hercules, went to be on Olympus, because you can only have 12 and he was 13, and things have to change because you can only have 12. One aspect of only having a certain amount of celebrities, or only having a certain amount of gods and goddesses, I don't know if it applies to saints, I don't think it does, is that there are conflations or different names, different attributes, different parts that are combined. So the goddess of love in one culture meets another goddess of love in another culture, and it gets combined. So that's what Hellenism is the combination of Greek and Roman mythologies. And Venus relates to Aphrodite, but they're not exactly the same, but they are combined, and Venus becomes or subsumes Aphrodite, and so forth. Astarte, Easter, Oestra, Esther, Estella. One leads to the other, and they're combined, and they're subsumed. Like, for instance, Diana is the goddess of the moon, but so is Cynthia. So Cynthia becomes a name for Diana. Although they probably started out as two different beings, then they're seen as one being. Apollo is associated with the sun, so then he's seen as Diana's sister, but then the Egyptian sun god becomes related, Ra and Apollo become related, or maybe later they split off. So these gods and goddesses are changing, but they're related, they replace each other, and that's what happens with celebrities too. So if we have a little boy and he's attracted to a woman because she's got big hair, wig, and she's got on bright clothes, and she sings pretty, and then as he grows up, his attractions to women change, and then the goddess of love for him, the ideal woman, changes. So the celebrity changes their image and you go along with them, or you switch celebrities. So Dolly and Barbara Walters sat down and spoke in an important interview that I remember at the time, in which Dolly was rudely asked by Barbara Walters if, Dolly, and this is not a quote, but I'm just going to be meaner about it so you can see what Barbara Walters was really saying. Dolly, don't you think you should dress more seriously? If you want to be taken seriously, you're dressed like a whore. Well, she didn't say any of those words. Barbara Walters was always professional, as far as I know. I've never seen her be unprofessional, ever. And I've seen lots of hours of Barbara Walters. But if if you watch Barbara Walters with Dolly Parton in that exchange, you will think how much the world has changed since then. Barbara Walters is being what was considered professional at the time, but today it's considered rude as hell. Dolly Parton is dressed as what was considered a whore at the time, and now all women, it's dated, but all women put on so much effort into their hair and their makeup to look attractive to men and to draw sexual attention. So back then, the professional woman didn't dress like that. Now, all women present themselves as what only trash did back then. Now, Dolly Parton didn't wear yoga pants that I ever saw. But women today wear yoga pants. And you can see their and you can see their and they're not even necessarily trying to draw attention to themselves. But ladies, if you don't want to draw sexual attention, don't show the people around you your or your I mean, I hate to bring that tidings of it's so freaking obvious. I hate to state the obvious. But if we can see your and your what do you think we're gonna do? What do you think we're gonna say? What do you think we're gonna think? Now, if you want that kind of attention, that's one thing. But if you just think that you're going to the store, so you're going to put on black yoga pants because you don't want to draw attention to how you look, you are deceived. You may look in the mirror before you leave and see what your butt looks like before you leave. I would recommend doing that. But you probably don't know what your butt and your look like when you're walking in front of a man, or in front of a woman, or in front of a child. And your is for a particular small set of people, not for the public. It looks like you don't have any pants on, but your legs are black if you're wearing black yoga pants. It looks like your skin is yellow and green striped, but you're not wearing pants if you're wearing yellow and green striped yoga pants. If you're wearing yoga pants, it looks like you are not wearing pants, regardless of what color they are. And if you don't realize that, there's something wrong with you. If you're doing it on purpose, there's something else wrong with you. Now, there's something wrong with everybody. So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not saying everybody doesn't do something that's wrong. I'm saying you don't want us to see it, don't show it to us.